Warning, the following video is not made for kids. It's for older fans and adults too.
He's a really splendid engine. Everybody knows. But he does go on and on and on and on, always telling us so. He is a splendid fellow, and he really is quite vain.
Who do we mean?
You got it.
James!
No. It's James. Pretty much it's James with the best of James, and with the best of James, we have the sort of best host, aka the Review Bros, with me, Zecoa the Diesel, and a true host and creator of the DVD home media series,
Bonnie, also known as LTPot7. Hey folks, welcome to episode 3 of Thomas and Friends Home Video Reviews. We are back.
We are, and pretty much not only are we back, but we're back to take a look at technically for the DVD timeline, the second installment of the best ofs and everything. But if you're going by a VHS release, this is the third installment for the best ofs and everything, the best of James.
Yes, sir. Best of James. And this one is very interesting because this is the first episode on this series that I did not own the DVD as a kid until 2020.
Mm-hmm. And as for me, pretty much before I owned the DVD, pretty much I've owned the original VHS port of Best of James way long ago as a kid and everything. So pretty much like Best of James was another VHS tape I did watch a ton of as a kid and everything. And out of the best of series and everything that I've owned either in DVD or in a VHS and everything, I will definitely say in everything that honestly, like. Best of James is definitely up there as being like my number one favorite, like whole media in terms of the best of series and such so far and everything. But after coming back to like rewatching the VHS after so long and everything, it still holds up strongly in my opinion.
This one was a very interesting watch. But before we do, let's go ahead and jump into the review section of Best of James.
Yes. And here's a little like a quick history as well too. Best of James leads returns to the DVD. Was completed on January 7th, 2000, and then it was released, both at VHS and DVD, on March 5th of that same year, 2000.
March 5th of 2000?
Yep, or at least 2002, actually.
Oh, okay, because I was thinking no, because 2000 the Best of Percy hadn't even come out yet by that point. So
no, not yet. So that's true.
So yeah, the DVD itself came out March 5th, 2002. And as far as I know, this is the very last DVD to be released on March 5th of 2002.
I believe you are right, actually. Let me take a quick look.
Yeah, because Cranky Bucks, I think, came out in July of 2002, which, funnily enough, Cranky Bucks is
yes, you are right.
Yes. So...
Interestingly enough, like, even though Cranky Bucks came out of July, the re-release VHS version actually came out on the same day as the Best of James DVD.
Ah, that's interesting. I didn't even know that.
Yep.
Well, so there you go. So Best of James. Okay, this one was very interesting. Okay, so like I said in the previous episode, this was the very first home media that I didn't own as a kid. It was the only best stuff I didn't have as a kid. I did see it in person a lot when I went shopping. I did see it in person a lot, but I didn't have the budget to get it. And that's gonna and keep that story in mind, because this also applies to a certain box set that is now very hard to find. That's
yes.
But anyway, so a lot of years went by, and it wasn't until 2020 that I got the best of box set that includes Best of Thomas, Best of James, Best of Percy, and Best of Gordon. And that was the first time I actually owned Best of James. And the first time I watched it in its entirety was actually a couple days ago, and honestly, it was a very interesting experience. Very different than what I was expecting, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I pretty much I can imagine everything, because like I said, because pretty much like you said and everything, this is one of the very first home media and such that like you've just recently watched, like, you know, this day and everything. So I can imagine what your experience must have been like versus like someone like me that's pretty much has like owned this home media like release ever since childhood and such.
Yeah, and honestly, compared to the other best stuffs that I had as a kid, this one kind of felt different in many ways.
Mm-hmm. But how different was Best of James in comparison to like the other best ofs and everything? Well, I guess we're gonna have to find that out right now and such.
Yes. So first off, let's go ahead and read the description. Now, you have the description on of the DVD over there, or you want me to read it?
Yes, I do have the description of the DVD and such. Did you want the DVD or the VHS edition?
Uh, Either, because both are pretty much the same.
Alrighty, there's some like slight differences from what I understand, according to the wiki and such. But alright, here's the DVD version and such.
Go ahead.
Alright. Known on the island of Sodor for his fine scarlet coat and occasional high alternate attitude, James has been a fan favorite from the very beginning. Children love his big grin and jovial ways. Adults connected with his kind heart and warm disposition. For the first time on DVD, we are happy to celebrate James, the very useful, splendid Red Engine, with 8 favorite stories, several special features, and trainloads of educational fun. Get your tickets ready and hop on board for miles of DVD smiles with your Sordor family as they salute your friend and ours, James.
Okay, so that's the DVD one. The VHS one, I think, is a little bit slightly different.
Yes, it is a little bit slightly different. I don't know if there's any major differences, but you know what? I'll read the very first one. So, all right. So this is what the VHS version is. So, known on the island of Sodor for his fine scarlet coat and occasional high alternate attitude, James has been a fan favorite from the very beginning. Children love his big grin and jovial ways. Adults connected with his kind heart and warm disposition. This volume of the commemorative Thomas and Friends Collector's Edition series is dedicated to James, the very useful, splendid Red Engine. Celebrate all our favorite stories, which have made James one of the most popular and closest friends of Thomas. Remember when James got a little rough with some of the troublesome trucks and learned a very important lesson? Or when James's joke on Gordon backfired on him? Or who can ever forget when James got stung on the nose by a bee? Get your tickets ready and hop on board for miles of smiles with your Sordor family as they salute your friend and ours, James.
Okay, that was very different from the DVD version. The DVD version just cut straight to the chase.
Pretty much, like the only real differences between this and a DVD is that in the VHS they at least like give you a sneak peek on some of the episodes in the description and like you're bound to see and everything in this VHS and everything. Whereas the DVD, they actually just skip this all entirely. They actually skip this all entirely and pretty much just say like, get your tickets ready and pretty much like get your ass in the coach so you can watch Best of James.
You know what? For future episodes, I'm gonna have to add the VHS cover, so because I always forget to do that. So starting with episode 4, I'm gonna add the VHS cover for the upcoming episodes.
Alrighty. Well, I mean, like so far, at least in terms of covers between this and the DVDs and everything, not really much has changed in terms of like the front covers and such.
The only thing that's different is that the front the cover's a little bit more smaller due to the VHS being a different size. The DVD case is much thicker.
Mm-hmm.
But
pretty much like with Best of Thomas, like your Best of James also came with a booklet as well too.
Yes, mine came with a booklet. I do have the booklet. This is the last one of the best stuff that I have that has a booklet, because Best of Percy and Best of Gordon did not bring a booklet.
Mm-hmm. And does your booklet also contain advertisement of like all the other Thomas and Friends media on VHS and DVD?
Let me take a look. And this one is in
the one I got on because the one I got on Wikipedia, they have an advertisement of all the Thomas videos that are on VHS, starting from
mine has it. Yes, it says collect all your favorite Thomas videos, and there's only 3 DVDs at the bottom, which is Best of Thomas, the one and also Best of James, which we're going to talk about today, and Make Someone Happy.
Which actually does make sense. Because at the time this DVD came out, there were only other 2 DVDs released of Thomas at this point.
Yeah, because Cranky Bugs wasn't out on DVD yet. Cranky Bugs came out in July 23. So yeah, It's basically the same thing as in the wiki, pretty much, and also has this, which I find very interesting. It says, "Get ready for all new Thomas and Friends stories on VHS and DVD this fall," which was an advertisement for season 6, which at the time this came out, season 6 was in production at the time. So
it was, yes.
So this was an advertisement for for season 6, which was gonna come out in September of that year. So
and also look at this, like it also contains like advertisements for like the railway series as well too.
Oh really? Hold on, let me see. Although
it does use like the god awful edited versions of the illustrations.
Yeah, for the ones that don't know, and let's go ahead and reveal this since we're gonna take a while to get to that part in the release of podcast. But basically, the long story short is that in 1998, the copyright of the books was sold to Egmont Publishing. Now it's called Farshore. But what Egmont tried to do was basically, instead of continuing the books as they were like, you know what, let's try something different. So they tried a new format that basically cropped, altered, and eliminated detail of the illustrations. And let's just say nobody was happy.
Not even Christopher Audrey himself was happy with it.
Christopher wasn't happy, and he was opposed to the format, and the fans ripped it to shreds. So much to the point where Egmont just canceled the new format altogether. But they also did something bad. They let the series go out of print for a number of years, which
yeah,
good job, Egmont.
Good job.
But yeah, that's the long story short version of what happened. But so that's the booklet. Now let me put it back on the case. I want to be careful.
While you do that and everything, just a little bit more of an interesting fact and everything. But in some re-releases, in terms of the VHS, The Best of James, you could have either gotten a wooden Toby, a wooden James, or a wooden Donald.
Okay, so no.
And in terms of the DVDs and such, you could have either gotten a wooden Birdie, a wooden Bulgy, a wooden Duncan, a wooden Frank, a wooden Duck, a wooden Elizabeth. You could have gotten a hand car, a jewel car, or you could have gotten a take-along Birdie. Or you also could have gotten a wooden railway Mike as well, or Trevor.
You did get Mike. You told me one time you did have Mike.
I did get Mike one time and such. I don't remember like which VHS I ended up like getting Mike and all and everything. Like have you ever come across like the VHS or at least like a DVD where I did come across a wooden railway version of Mike? I'll try to remember it.
Okay. So anyways, now that we got... Oh, and also I forgot to mention, this DVD was re-released in 2007 with this cover where you basically push the face and you hear James's whistle. They did this also for Best of Thomas, Best of Percy, and Best of Gordon.
Yes, that is true.
So yeah, so now that we got this...
And of course, we all know that like years later down the road and everything, Best of James would like also get another re-release along with the Best of Thomas, Percy, and Gordon into the Best of Collector box set.
Yeah, there was one version. The first version was called the Platinum Collection box set, which included the first 3 best stops: Percy, Thomas, and James. And then in 2000, later down the road in 2003, they also released the best stuff, which included Best of Gordon. And Best of Gordon was an exclusive to that box set at first.
Yes.
But once we get to Best of Gordon, we'll go more into detail. So anyway. Now let's talk about what we get for the 8 episodes, because it's a best stuff. So surely the 8 episodes have to be the best of the best. But first off, dude, could you tell us what do we get for this release?
All right, so pretty much here are the episodes that you get when you get Best of James. You get A Proud Day for James, which there is a fun fact which we'll get to when we get to the episode itself. James in a Mess, Old Iron, No Joke for James, James Learns a Lesson, Percy James and a Fruitful Day, which, fun fact, in the first VHS on the back cover, it actually just says Percy and a Fruitful Day.
That's a fun fact I learned. That's a fun fact I learned yesterday as I was, preparing to, to film this episode today.
Yes. But luckily, when they reprinted it and everything, they quickly fixed that mistake and everything. So pretty much only happens in the first release.
And this is not the first time they make a mistake, because once we get to Thomas's Snowy Surprise, they did something similar with that release, but we'll see once we get to Thomas's Snowy Surprise.
Alrighty, and then the last 2 episodes we got is James Goes Buzz Buzz and then Time for Trouble.
Okay, so first things first, let me go ahead and commentate on this.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say this right off the bat. I think the episode selection is much stronger than Best of Thomas.
Oh, I agree with you wholeheartedly and such. Like, not only are they much better and everything, but like you and everything, we'll say this when we get to the end of it. But like, But honestly, like, the only thing like for Best of James, like when compared to Best of Thomas, there's only one episode in here to where like pretty much like if I was to do just a simple like swap with this episode and everything, then it definitely this like a VHS collection, or at least like the episodes featured on this VHS would be very strong when compared to Thomas.
There out of the 8 episodes, there's only one that I will switch, but we'll get to that episode once we get to it. But if you guys know us if you guys are veterans of both of our channels for, I don't know, since the very beginning, then you probably know what episode it is. But
Yes.
we won't.
And also before we forget, if you guys have the VHS tape of Best of James, then after Time for Trouble, you're supposed to get a sing-along called "Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover." However, if you don't have the VHS and you just have the DVDs, "Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover" is still there, but you're either gonna have to do one or two things. Are you gonna have to just go to the sing-along version, which not only do you get "Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover," but you also get Harold the Helicopter, The Island Song, and Gone Fishing.
Gone Fishing, yeah, that's correct. And
Oh.
or you can do autoplay and basically let the train in the menu just go to the logo and then basically play the entire DVD by itself.
Pretty much. So pretty much Best of James was the very first Thomas DVD. To where basically they enhanced the autoplay and everything. So basically, as Bonnie said, as soon as you let the train go into the clouds, then after the episodes, you'll be treated to the sing-alongs, and then after the sing-alongs, you boot it back to the DVD menu.
Exactly. So first off, let's talk about the episodes real quick. We'll just jump straight into this because we got a lot to talk about in terms of.
Oh yeah, we certainly do.
All right. So first off is A Proud Day for James, and honestly, this is a great opener.
Oh, I agree and everything. Like, honestly, like, since day one from the beginning, ever since I got this DVD, A Proud Day for James has always been one of my favorite, like, James episodes and everything. And pretty much, like, pretty much you could not ask for a better James opening than, like, having the part where, even though, like, Shatabam had, it's already beginning to think well of James ever since that, like, he's been doing well with the freight cars and everything from the last episode. Pretty much like Henry and Gordon still treat him like a shit and such. And then you got Gordon like pretty much acting the same pompous self and everything, where it's just like, oh, I always seem to know where to go by instinct and everything. But never mind the fact that Stiglman have their own jobs to do. I just know where to go and such. And then later on, it's going to come back to bite him in the ass. And then you have James proving his worth in the end.
Yeah. Hello, Gordon. Is it tomorrow?
Gordon didn't answer.
Did you lose your way, Gordon?
No, it was lost for me. I was switched off the main line onto the loop. I had to go all around and back again.
Perhaps it was instinct,
said James. Pretty much like I said right there and everything. Like, that's just basically George Carlin interchanneling his Bugs Bunny and everything, which honestly, for that scene and everything, it just makes the whole scene a lot more funnier than in the UK version.
Yeah, Ringo. This is one of those where Ringo didn't even try. He's like, hello, Gordon. Is it tomorrow?
Relax, James. Did you lose your way, Gordon? Said James. Actually, a fun fact about George Carlin and everything. There were a couple of episodes from season 1 that he did re-narrate that never made it to like Shining Time Station and everything, and it had to be released onto home media. And this was actually one of them. I believe this was the very last episode that George Carlin re-narrated for the series and everything, and it finally made its way into home media. And unless someone can correct me and everything, I believe this is the only way in terms of like the home media version to where pretty much like you could listen to George Carlin's narration to A Proud Day for James, because any other time afterwards, even with like a James Learns a Lesson, is only Ringo Starr's narration that you got to hear and such.
Which honestly, I was gonna mention James Learns a Lesson, the video, which we're gonna talk about in this series later on. But I always found it bizarre that they were still releasing Ringo narrations by the early 2000s, because by that point, you know, George Carlin was the default. If you wanted to watch a classic episode, then it was George Carlin, which, you know, releasing Ringo narrations was pretty bizarre by that point, but whatever.
It was a little, pretty much I will admit, it was a little bizarre considering that, like, some of the other, like, VHSs and, like, or the episodes that did got re-releases to VHS would use, like, George Carlin's narration instead and everything, but honestly, at the same time and everything, like, I'm kind of glad that, like, Britt and David, or at least, like, whoever was in charge of those DVDs at the time, like, decided to still use like the U.S. Narration version of Ringo Starr and everything because at the very least, by the time I got to like the UK versions of season 1 and 2, I was already used to Ringo Starr by that point and everything. So like it really didn't like it didn't really like turn me away that much to hear his voice during the UK versions and such.
It didn't turn off. It didn't hurt me either. Hearing his narration. It's just I just find it bizarre that they were still releasing a lot of Ringo Starr stuff by the early 2000s. But
Well,
hey,
if you guys,
the more the merrier.
yeah, and pretty much what I was gonna say. If you guys thought it was strange that like pretty much like a Ringo Starr Ringo Starr's narrations can be heard in something like James Learns a Lesson, just wait till we get to Best of Percy.
Oh yeah, wait till we get the Best of Percy because that has to be the most bizarre one yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll get to it when we get to it, but pretty much like yeah, like we said and everything, like there were a couple of George Carlin re-narrations that like only got re-released. They only got released in home media. They were never shown in like Shiny Time Station in any shape or form and anything. And some of those episodes we will get to it once we get to those home medias and such. And pretty much another fun fact as well too, like the only 2 episodes, at least to my knowledge and such, up to this point, the only 2, no, because I was gonna say the only 2 episodes that like never got re-released for home media was going to be the sad story of Henry and Henry to the Rescue, but no, that's actually false because pretty much there was going to be a point in like Thomas Gets Tricked and everything where they were going to replace Ringo Starr's narration with George Carlin's narration.
Oh yes, this is the 1995 VHS. Yeah. However, that VHS got canceled at the last minute. But the masters for that VHS unfortunately got out.
Yes.
And well, if you have one of those, then consider yourself lucky because finding one of those can be pretty difficult as far as I know.
It definitely can and such. But pretty much like yeah, just your history lesson of the day. But yeah, like we said and everything, A Proud David James is a very, very strong opening to the Best of James and everything, because pretty much like here we have James, like, the underdog and everything, still like ready to prove his worth to the other entrants and everything. And pretty much like yeah, once Gordon starts messing up and everything in the usual Gordon way and such, just the way that a scene plays out where James is pulling the express and such, it really does show him, as the title says, at his best in that moment right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And yeah, honestly, to me, like I said, this is a very strong opener and one of the best James episodes in my opinion.
Oh, I agree with you right there. I definitely agree.
So this episode ends and we get our first transition. I took notes of this. Our first transition, it's great to be an engine, and this one was a very cool choice. I agree with this one.
Yeah, I agree with it as well too. And again, much like with the Best of Thomas transitions and everything, like once again, I do like that that once again, whoever was editing like these transitions and everything, they did a very darnest to make sure the footage matches up just fine with the lyrics going on in the background and everything. Like pretty much they didn't just like mash up like footage together and just hope that like it would sync well with the audio and such. Like no, like they actually put in the effort to make sure that it actually did sync up with the audio and that they got the right footage for it as well too.
Yes. So I think it's great to be an engine for the first one is a very cool choice. I agree with this one.
Agree.
So then we move on to our next episode, James in a Mess. And let me take this one first.
Go right ahead.
Just to change things up.
All right.
Honestly, okay, we start off with a bang and then we get transitioned to another banger episode.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of James' strongest moments, but not one of his positive moments. No. This is one of his worst moments.
Worst in terms of like pretty much like we get to see like how James could be very judgmental around other engines, especially a certain tram engine.
A certain tram engine that put him in his place.
Yeah. Oh, said Toby innocently. That's why you once needed bootlaces to be ready, I suppose.
Shut your fucking mouth with that bullshit. and then he runs off.
James went redder than ever, threw some curse words at Toby, and snorted off.
Dirty cars on dirty sidings.
Yeah.
I do prefer Ringo's
better
than well, I do love them both, but I think Ringo does a better job with the
And honestly, like I think he works a little bit more better too, because like he waits till like right at the end, like right as like a James's theme is about to fade out, whereas like in a George Carlin version and everything, like like he says it's yuck. very early on, right? Right as you're about to back down on like another set of trucks and such.
Yeah. But honestly, this is another strong choice to put on this because this has one of James's best crashes with the tar wagons. In my opinion, I think the tar wagons is my favorite James crash ever.
Oh, same here, honestly. Like, pretty much, like, yeah, the tar wagons, like, pretty much the tar wagons are right up there with like Henry's accident and the flying kipper, and that being like one of season one's best crashes and such. And that's actually saying a lot because season one was not really known for its crashes all that much and everything.
No, they were pretty conservative with the crashes considering it was the first season.
Yeah, it was the first season, and pretty much like the models were definitely not cheap to make during that time.
No, especially the first Thomas and Gordon's models, because apparently, and this is something interesting, but apparently Thomas's model gave out during season 4, and they had to make a new one.
Oh, interesting. All right.
And the shell that housed the original model, thankfully was saved by a fan, and it's in a fan's hands now.
All right.
So that model goes back all the way to the pilot. So
Dang.
But those models were not cheap to make, and the fact that they actually managed to film this crash in the first season, they did a very good job.
They did. They definitely did. Just like I pretty much tried to ignore the hand in the background and such, but that's what
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You have to look very closely because once the crash happens, you have to look to the.
Yeah, you have to look very closely because like you can see a hand like pretty much like holding onto like I believe it's the second or third truck from behind, and literally like just pushing it very gently over towards James and such. Right as James is like derailing and such.
How did that? Well, it's still pretty cool because you get to see like how much work it took to make a show like Thomas. So that's cool.
Yeah, like we said, like this was still like the early days as well too. So like we could always forgive him for that.
Yeah, it was also the first season. But yeah, honestly, I think James and the Mess is a great episode, and it deserves to be on here. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, like the same here. Like I really don't have that much else to say. Like this was like the second literally the second strongest episode, and a very great way to like pretty much transition from a proud day for James, where like we got to saw James at his best when pretty much like he could take any challenge along with him. And then we come to this episode where we get to see James when he's like at his worst and everything. Yes. Pretty much we get to see a side of James that literally does not like to do any goods work and anything. Like pretty much if he can help it and everything, like he would rather pull passengers than trucks. And pretty much as we saw he let Toby's words like get the better of him to a point to where like the trucks had him right where they want him and everything. And like Ronnie said, as soon as that crash happened and everything, pretty much you knew that James really messed up in that moment.
And what's the number one morality rule in Sodor?
Shut up, or else karma's gonna bite you in the butt.
There you go. Yeah, morality is the thing you have to keep in mind in Sodor.
I'm a splendid red engine, said James, ready for anything. You never see my paint dirty. And then
there you go.
And then later in the same episode, but James is a splendid red engine. When you never see his paint dirty, James pretended he hadn't heard.
And there goes morality off the window.
Hey, much.
But yeah, so there you go. Vessel James is to be James,
or at least James in a Mess.
James in a Mess. Great episode and excellent pick to put on here. So,
but okay, now this one I will admit is a little strange considering like the theme of this episode. But what was the second transition that we got between this?
I took notes, so I have it here. All right, so transition number 2 really useful engine, and I wrote in my notes.
Useful engine.
What? And I'm not joking. I wrote that in my notes. It says what? This does. I am a little baffled that they decided to pick this song because this song is not. It's meant for a certain blue star billing bastard, not this character, but. Whatever, as a transition, so I guess I can give them a pass, I suppose?
I mean, pretty much I was also telling Barney this as well, too, but, considering that, the team had to choose between, a lot of different songs from Season 4 and Season 5, there were, pretty much, the majority of the songs really don't really, fit James all that much in the end and everything, so I could imagine that, they were just like a pick. They were just like picking the ones that like. They were just picking the ones that like could still match James just enough, or at least like at the very least like a match the themes most of these episodes were going for and everything, and they're just like, man, that's good enough. Just put it, that's good enough. Just put them just put them into VHS and DVD.
I will say this though, I do appreciate the variety because after a while of hearing Thomas's anthem over and over again, it does get a little wary.
It does. And another thing I also like as well too, like I also like right before like to get to the next episode as well too, like you get to see like a different ending shots as well too on like a pretty much whether it be like a top of hat or like Percy's driver inside of Percy and everything, or even with the guard as well too. Like I've seen a different transition on like the next story stop or like in the VHS case, the music video coming up. It is a very like a nice transition, I will admit.
Yeah, and I was gonna say this as well. Now that I think about it, the transitions in this one are very unique because they include different songs, yes, and also they include those small little pulling into the next station, that type of stuff. Because Best of Percy actually did something very different. Instead of using one song, instead of using multiple songs, they literally just took the Thomas theme and plastered it all over the transitions.
Yeah, pretty much like like with Best of Percy and everything. As Barney said, they just took the Thomas themes and everything, and pretty much just matched them like with any like a Percy clips they could find and such. Which honestly, like I would give them like a pass on that because one, like literally as we said, it literally was the first best of like a series in terms of like the VHS tapes and everything.
Which now that I think about it, is very bizarre. Why did that come out first instead of Thomas? But it's really.
I mean, I can imagine that like compared to like Thomas and everything, like Percy also had like a fair amount of like large episodes to himself between seasons 1 and 5.
Yeah, and like I said, and like we said in a bunch of times in our videos, had season 2 adapted Drip Tank, they would have had to change the name of the show to Percy and Friends.
Percy and Friends.
Because for a show being called Thomas and Friends, they sure have a lot of Percy episodes.
They certainly do and such and everything. Like pretty much like both season 2 and season 5 are definitely like a Percy heavy are definitely Percy heavy seasons and such.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So anyway, after Really Useful Engine, that second.
What else do we get? Another Banner episode, and that of Old Iron.
Old Iron, yes. So you can take this one.
All right. So pretty much, as we said in Old Iron and everything, this was another like a very strong choice to pick for this episode. And once again, like this episode does the right balance to where pretty much like we get to see a part of James that we already saw in James in a Mess. Where pretty much like now he's bad mouthing Edward because like he keeps on like running late with his trains and everything, and it's getting to James so much that he calls him an old iron and says that like he is very slow and everything. The which gets Thomas and Percy to be like, oh yeah, well I bet Edward could beat you in a race any day, and James is just like, huh, yeah, really? Well, I'd like to see that for sure. And then pretty much comes several days later and everything. When James's driver was suddenly taken ill and such, and James had to wait for a replacement, 2 boys came on James's footplate, fiddled with the controls, and now James was running out down the line, not knowing that like he did not have a driver until it was too late, and he was just like, "Oh shit, I can't stop!
Help!
We're
coming!
We're coming!" Yelled Edward, and then pretty much like you get honestly you get one of the best chase scenes like. Not only just in season 2, but just pretty much out of Thomas in general and everything. Like, just a whole like a camera angle of like James and Edward like catching up with each other to like the close up of like the lasso trying to like slip it over to James's buffer and everything. Like, honestly, looking back on it, like it's definitely one of the best runaways. It's definitely one of the best runaways. Like. The show's ever put on up until that point and such.
Oh, I agree. I 100% agree. In the books, especially, it's also very good because you get to see, James panicking and Edward with the little, rope.
Yeah, and pretty much not only that, but like you also get to see the rope being tied to his funnel as well too.
Oh yeah, that's true. That too. But
yeah, pretty much.
Go ahead.
And pretty much like with Old Iron as well too. Right after Edward saves him, now we get to see James's other side that we saw in a Proud Day for James, where like. Pretty much he admits that he was wrong and such, and he was just like, hey, you actually did save me. Like, I'm sorry I was rude to you and everything. And Edward's just like, oh, that's all right and such. So pretty much like, yeah, this episode does a good job in showing like showing like the two sides of James. The one where like Pretty much the one where like he can get impatient at times, and sure he can also be very temperamental and everything. But once he does see like someone actually does proving their worth and actually like realizing that someone is useful in the end, like he can admit when he's wrong, and he can admit when he's wrong, and he can always like be grateful for someone that like actually did save them, like even though like he was being rude to them in the beginning and such.
Oh, totally. And yeah, I think this is a very strong choice to put into this best stuff because no, if you don't include Old Iron, I basically fire you on the spot immediately. but yeah, honestly, so far,
What? Pretty much. Well, you heard that, little Timmy, and everything. Like, you didn't pick Gold Iron, so like, get out of the house and go sleep on the streets for now on.
Okay, so I was gonna say, so far so good. Three banger episodes so far, and excellent choices. So far, so
And
good.
for this next transition, we have "Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover," which honestly, like, right at the very beginning, like, especially like. When you saw like James getting lifted up by the breakdown train, already like this transition just won me over.
Oh yeah, totally. It won me over as well, and it's a pretty good choice. No
It
complaints
is.
with this one. Pretty good choice, and considering it's the single-on song at the end of the VHS,
I
foreshadowing.
mean, it's a very good choice. Which honestly, you know what? Like, I'm kind of a little surprised that like they didn't include this. I'm a little surprised that like they didn't wait to like use this transition at the end for Time for Trouble and such. But at the same time and everything, I guess maybe that like they wanted to like give the children a little bit of surprise, making them think that like maybe a different song would have played in the end or something.
That's true. So yeah, after don't judge a book by its cover, we get one of my favorite James episodes of all time.
No joke for James. And pretty much that's no joke.
That's no joke. Yeah. So okay, honestly, this is one of the very few James episodes that I didn't see as a kid because, and this is probably my fault. Do you guys remember the VHS Trust Thomas?
Yes, I do remember that. And fun fact, pretty much fun fact, I've also owned both the VHS and the DVD of that home media.
Did you have the one with Mavis on the cover or the one with?
I did. I did have the one with Mavis on the cover. Yes.
Okay, I had the DVD with Mavis on the cover as well. But yeah, that DVD had No Joke for James, and
really,
yeah.
Huh.
From what I remember by memory, Best of James, No Joke for James wasn't that DVD, but because I overplayed most of my DVDs, you can probably tell that some of them, let's just say,
pretty much some of them are just like, yeah, no, we don't want to work for you anymore. Get
they're
out.
unplayable now because I overplayed them to death. So
yeah,
that was one of the episodes that did freeze once it got to them. So I never got to see this episode until I did my season 3 review back in 2020 before, unfortunately, my channel got taken down. My original channel got taken down.
Yeah.
But from what I remember, I enjoyed that episode so much because of the joke that James put to Gordon. So like, oh, I got plans. Sir Topham had has plans for me, what plans?
Wait and see.
Oh fuck! What the fuck am I gonna do now?
Oh, and also a fun fact: according to like the Thomas Wiki for Trust Thomas and such, actually like in some re-releases of Trust Thomas on DVD, they actually use No Joke for James from Best of James onto that DVD.
Yeah, because of the title card. The title card is exactly the same as in Best of James. I do remember that.
Yes. So pretty much like the only two episodes that have like kept their original title cards was Toby's Tightrope and Henry's Forest.
Yeah, that's true. Because most of them were pulled from other releases, actually.
Yes.
Which honestly is kind of cool, but at the same time kind of strange because you're basically lowering the quality of most of the episodes in terms of video quality. But
yeah.
Anyway, No Joke for James, very good James episode. But I do feel with this episode, I feel it should have been the ending of the whole.
Really? Oh yeah, we did mention this in like during the privately and everything. But yeah, go ahead. Pretty much, why do you feel that like No Joke for James probably would have been better? Probably would have been better in the end.
I think it would have been better as a finale because of the ending, where basically Sir Topham says like, "Yeah, was indeed you're a really useful engine," and that's the perfect ending to end off the tape.
Yeah, and plus two, this would show like a James. This was pretty much having this being the final like episode for Best of James would have shown like all of James's like characteristics, where like he could be full of himself. He could even like try to play tricks on the others and everything, and then have that joke like backfired on him. And then pretty much like I said at the end too, once he gets the inspector and like offers him a ride, and then you have Sir Tom Mad saying that like he's a really useful engine. Pretty much now that I think about it, like yeah, I think you're right. I think No Joke for James definitely would have been like a very suitable episode to end off Best of James. Actually,
It would have been the perfect ending for the VHS and the DVD as well. But yeah, as an episode though, fantastic. One of my favorite season 3 episodes ever.
I can see why and everything, because like I pretty much like we said and everything, like pretty much like I said, like and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this was based on a magazine story, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was written by Andrew Breder.
Yeah.
One of the magazine stories written by Andrew Breder. This is one of the original stories.
Mm-hmm. And pretty much like honestly, like Brent David made the right choice on picking this to like adapt from and everything, because like I said, this definitely shows James like definitely at his best and also at his worst as well too, right in the beginning as well. So pretty much like you said, everything. As soon as that joke backfired on James and everything, like on the one hand, you definitely felt like he did deserve that teasing he got in the shed and everything, where pretty much Gordon was just like, "I wonder who'll be pulling the express today." "I expect it'll be you," replied Henry. "James is stuck in the shed for being silly." James felt sad.
I mean, who can't blame him?
I mean, yeah. That's another thing as well too. Like, even though you felt like he did deserve it, like I can imagine, like there's some people out there that did actually feel like slightly sorry for James, especially like once he was finally like let out of shed and everything. The first thing he did was actually apologize to Thomas for like tricking him in the end and everything. And for once, he did not complain about like doing his goods work. He did not complain doing his goods work in the end and everything. So you know what? Like, yeah, that's another positive for James right there and such. Pretty much him redeeming himself.
And he did his work like normally. That's also
Pretty-
pretty good. So I
pretty
think
much.
So yeah, the more I think about it, yeah, this episode definitely should have been the finale of the tape itself.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I definitely would agree with you because if not this episode, then pretty much I would have picked another episode that definitely would have like made for a good one too, like and not Best of James as well too. But we'll get to it when we get to it and such.
Yeah. So after No Joke for James, we get
We
transition.
did.
Let's have
We get transition before. So go ahead.
Let's have a race. What
race,
the
have a
fuck
race,
is this doing here? It
Okay,
doesn't really fit.
okay, you know what? Like to get the editor's credit and everything, like pretty much out of all the songs and everything, I think they picked like the very best like footages to pretty much like fit the lyrics of a song. Pretty much especially using Old Iron to make it seem like a James and Edward were having a race.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I agree. Still, though, really weird choice. Really weird to include this, because, but still.
Yeah.
So after Let's Have a Race, we get James
learns
learns
a lesson.
You can take this one.
All right, and pretty much like yes, like not counting like Thomas Saves the Day, because let's be honest, James was more like a secondary character and such.
Yeah, he was a secondary character.
This was like his very true like first episode appearance where we got to know him as a character and everything. And pretty much this is another episode of James where like we got to saw him at his worst and such as well too. And pretty much how we got to saw him at his worst? Well, pretty much he banged like a bunch of coasters and everything because like he was so mad at like at the fact that like Sir Tom had was threatening to paint him blue and everything, that pretty much he was just like, you know what, I'm gonna take all my anger out on coaches and stuff because fuck them.
And also because nobody came near him. So
yeah, nobody came near him as well too. So pretty much I got James all hot headed, and pretty much like this episode really does show what happens when James actually gets like very very hot headed and everything, and very much like temperamental and everything. He gets so temperamental and bangs the coaches so hard and everything that basically like he ended up breaking one of the pipes in the coaches and such, and pretty much the busted pipe was so bad that the driver was just like, well, I guess we're gonna need a leather bootlace and a newspaper to tie this whole thing up. And James was just like, oh shit.
And also, let's not forget, I wanted to mention a little fun fact. You guys probably didn't even notice this as a kid, but if you look closely, when people come to admire James at the very beginning of the episode, if you look at the left side of your screen, you can see Edward backing down onto James.
Yes, you do see Edward getting ready to back down on James, which and on the Barney's pointing out and everything, like it's a very nice attention to detail that that the crew made to that scene and such.
I didn't even notice till the Unlucky Tuck pointed it out, and I was like, "Holy shit! I didn't even notice."
Well, now you do notice it, Bonnie.
I'm a really splendid engine, said James,
And
suddenly
let off steam. Whee!
the poor fat controller was red in the
shout-
face and badly burnt.
Just then, the guard blew his whistle, and James thought they had better go.
Yeah.
Go on, he puffed to it. Edward takes a look at the platform and she's like, "Oh shit, yeah, go on."
If you're wondering where that comes from a YouTube book called The Silly Salsa Soda, made by Our Poop. I'll make sure to put a card in the on the upper right hand corner so you guys can check it out. Really fun YouTube book. But anyway, yeah. Honestly,
but yeah, honestly, for me, all right, I know that sometimes I harp a little bit on James Blair's Legacy because literally at the end and everything, it is literally James. It is literally just the first episode of knowing who James is as a character and everything, and as an episode by itself and everything, it's fine and such. Pretty much certainly a fine episode to at least get an idea of who James is after we saw him in Thomas and the Breakdown Train and everything. But honestly, even though I don't always feel too strongly on this episode and everything, I will admit that I will admit this was another very great choice to put this on the Best of James. Not only because it's the first James episode and everything, but once again, it actually does show another side of James too. Once again, what happens when he lets his temper get the better of him and everything.
Yes, and honestly, as an introduction to James as a character, perfect. And in my opinion, it deserves to be on this best stuff.
Mm-hmm. And also, in my opinion as well too, I think this was handled much more better than the original source material. Honestly.
Oh yeah, considering that Wilbur was rushed to write that book to meet a deadline, and it kind of shows.
Yeah, and not only that as well too, but that's what I also mentioned in the Best of James. Well, not just the Best of James, but James the Red Engine and everything. As I mentioned in that episode of our really useful podcast and such, the big difference with this episode, compared to the original source material, besides at least in this episode, you did kind of saw James's whole reaction and everything when the driver mentioned what they were going to amend the brake pipe with and everything. You could definitely see the total regret and embarrassment James has felt the whole way through and everything, to a point where even though that he did deserve what was coming to him in the next episode with him being staying in the shed and everything for being so naughty and such. Once again, the episode also does a good job enough to at least give you some hope that maybe James really did learn this lesson in the end and everything, and pretty much he definitely had to, because if not, then we definitely would not be getting any more James episodes and such.
Absolutely. And yeah, just because of the fact that this is a great James's introduction and who he is as a character, and the way the episode handled it amazingly, it deserves to be on this best stuff. No question. So yeah, so far, 5 episodes in a row, and all of them have been great choices.
They certainly have and such. And pretty much, all right, so the next transition is once again great to be an engine and such.
No, it's actually really useful.
It's really what. All right, so once again, we have 2 episodes where James messes up, and what's the transition to that episode? He's a really useful engine,
Which we already talked about. He
has a very temper attitude.
He huffs and puffs and
whistles, melts the skin off. He's a really useful engine we adore.
All right, so after that transition, we get an episode that this is an episode that I rarely saw as a kid, because I had no idea where the fuck was it put on. It was Percy.
Percy James, The Fruitful Day.
Yeah.
Which, fun fact, I think, I'm sure people can correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that, outside of Best of James, I think it was, James Goes Buzz Buzz that this episode was also featured on.
Was it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, yes, you're right.
Yeah, which pretty much is actually very funny, considering, the next episode is going to come right after this, but go right ahead, Bonnie.
All right. So, Percy James of the Fruitful Day. This is one of the episodes I didn't see much as a kid because honestly, like I said, I couldn't find which home media it was put on. But I watched it on YouTube many years ago for the first time, man. Honestly, I was blown away by how good it was. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's just one of those episodes where you see, where you see Percy and James interacting with one another, James being a shithead as usual, and then Percy pays him out. But Percy gets karma as well because fuck morality.
Pretty much.
And yeah, it's one of those episodes where both engines are in the wrong and both basically, have karma come into them.
Yes, that, pretty much I do agree with you. And like, pretty much like, yeah, honestly, like, this is the episode right here that really does show off, like, pretty much like the rivalry that James and Percy has and everything. Pretty much like, you got James acting like the big brother and everything, thinks that like he knows, thinks that like, he's all the hot shit and everything. He knows better than Percy and such. Pretty much to a point where like, pretty much he puts like a Percy down because of the trucks giving him trouble and everything. And pretty much what James responds? That's no excuse, Percy. Nothing should stop us really useful engines. Sir Topham Hatt is depending on us. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go to the harbor.
Bossy boiler.
Well, that's okay because Percy will later get the last laugh once he finds out that James's brakes don't work. Got yourself in a bit of a jam, eh, James? A sticky situation? Shut the fuck up, said James.
It's not funny having jam brakes.
And not really reliable either. I'm surprised you let it happen, James.
That's enough, Percy.
Yes, sir.
And also, let's not forget, Percy, I don't blame you for the switch accident, but I
But
don't
I did not,
Willy Wonka.
but I did not run a Welch's factory here, okay?
Percy, I don't blame you for the switch failure, but I'm not Willy Wonka.
I'm not Willy Wonka, okay? I mean, I know sometimes I give my urchins, like, strange punishments, but I'm not that cruel, okay?
Yes, no,
Yes, sir. No, sir. Okay, like, I don't know if it was also just me and everything, but, like, when I was a kid, like, some parts of the squash fruit, like, sometimes looked like mac and cheese to me as a kid. I don't know if it was just me.
It did look like mac and cheese. I will give you that. And honestly, I have one thing to say about that.
This episode is partially to you by Kraft.
Ew.
Yeah, ew. Ew. Spew.
To me, kind of, when I rewatched it when I was in the middle of working on my season 3 review, it looked like vomit to me. And I was so disgusted by it. I was so fucking disgusted by it. But nowadays, I'm like, okay, it's just.
Shit. Pretty much I was going to say, shit, looks like David Mann's been drinking again.
But yeah, honestly, still, this is a very strong episode. I'm glad they included this on the Best of James, honestly.
Same here. Like, pretty much, like, yeah, rewatching the episode and everything, like, I can definitely see why, like, other Thomas fans would definitely, like, consider this to be one of James's best episodes and everything. And pretty much, you know what? Like, pretty much this was the same thing that, like, that goes for Iron as well, too. But this is an example of how you could choose a best of episode where, like, you can have the character be more, to where, like, you can have the character that's, like, normally supposed to be a secondary character, but they still also feel like a main character as well, too. Whereas, like, in the Best of Thomas and everything, where, like, you had Thomas, Percy, and Dragon and everything, like we said in that episode and everything, while it is a good episode, like, it definitely felt more a Percy episode than a Thomas episode.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But honestly, this one is the complete opposite. Like, it has two characters. It has two characters that are our main characters, but both of them feel like they deserve to be on
yeah, like both of them pretty much like share like the equal amount of screen time and everything. That like honestly like yeah like pretty much it could go either way. Like I could see this either being on the Best of James or even on the Best of Percy as well too.
Oh, totally, same here. And well, yeah, I'm glad this is on here, and I think it deserves a spot on this best stuff.
But Bud, you know what also deserves to spot on the best stuff?
Oh yes, I do. Oh yes, I do.
Whistle James, he had enough.
Let's talk about it because, all right. So this episode has kind of a special place for me because, well, if you've seen episode 21 of 22 of the Really Useful Podcast, you already know what happened to me. But for the ones that are new to the channel, I'll basically tell a story. So here we
Go
go.
ahead.
I was at the cash register at Sam's Club with my grandmother back in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And all was going well, but then all of a sudden, a bee hit my nose, and I panicked because it crashed into my nose, so I tried to shake it off. And what did it do?
It
I
stung Bonnie right back on the nose.
and
Bing.
I think I'll let James say how I reacted.
Whistled James.
That was so painful. So painful. But the good news is I took out the stinger out pretty quickly. So I saved myself from getting an even worse damage.
Yeah.
Still though, that traumatized me because I'd never been stung before, like that. But eventually as soon as I started recovering, I thought, now I know exactly how James feels like. And ever since that day, James Goes Buzz is still, a personal favorite episode of mine, James related.
Oh yeah, same here and such.
Honestly, I think this episode is better than in the book version.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, do you have anything to say about this episode?
Honestly, okay, we also did mention this and the really useful podcast as well too, but honestly, this is another an adaptation to where pretty much another adaptation to where pretty much David did a very good job on changing up the story where it needed to be and everything, because pretty much by this point in season 3 and everything, Boko was already has already been established as the main character and everything, or at least the secondary character. So pretty much trying to keep it to the original story really wouldn't make too much sense, considering he's already friends with Doug to begin with and such, and James already knows him and everything. So pretty much to have it being all rewritten to where immediately it is the James episode right off the bat, to where pretty much he learns about the beehives from a Trevor. It even gets into a very unwelcome encounter with one of the beehives and the bee itself and everything. And once again, like I said, as a kid and everything, the first time I saw a close up of that bee and everything, it did used to scare me a couple times as a kid and everything.
Oh, especially when it comes down very angry.
Yeah, it pretty much comes down very angry. Pretty much that bee was just oh, it's personal now, bitch. And pretty much
I love the scene. I love the scene where it goes up into the station roof, and then James is like, "Huh? Where'd it go?
Where'd it go? And then,
oh fuck!
Yeah,
God,
and it
gives me
right back on the nose.
It gives me goosebumps whenever it comes down with that angry face. Oh my god!
Oh yeah, same here, man. Same here, and
especially now considering that I was stung. So there you go. But yeah, I think it's better than the book version, because the book version just cuts straight to the chase, where basically instead of James talking with Boko, talking with Trevor, excuse me.
Yeah,
it starts off
with right where we left off with the Cecil and everything, where it's pretty much where Boko's already delivered the trucks, and pretty much at first Doug was a little hesitant as we a diesel, huh? But then as soon as Boko mentioned Bill and Ben, Doug was just oh, okay, you're good now.
And then when he mentions Bill and Ben,
and pretty much Doug was just yeah, it's okay. I hate those little shitheads as well too. Well, I sometimes call them the bees. A good name, replied Boko. Their tears when they start buzzing around. But honestly, as I mentioned in that episode as well too, I pretty much still like the book version in the end as well too. Honestly, both the book version and this episode, they both still have the strong highlights in the end and everything. Pretty much with the book's highlight and everything, outside the illustrations, especially the action scene with the people and the driver and fireman trying to get away from the bees, even to the point where the fireman is literally trying to swat the bees away with a shovel as well too. It's just I pretty much just I'm kind of surprised that I'm kind of surprised he also didn't get stunned in the end.
Because remember, the bees were sleepy, so
yeah. And pretty much not only that too, but honestly, I still like the ending of the book as well too. Where pretty much after Boko takes the express and everything, all the other engines we're talking about a new beehive on wheels.
Oh yeah, I'm very disappointed that didn't carry over to the TV episode, because honestly, when you think about it, James did deserve getting stung.
He did deserve it and everything, but at the same time and everything, I think him getting torturous enough, pretty much to the point where, he had to get spit around the turntable, which, like I said, I could imagine James just being like, oh god, not again. And then pretty much, he had to get, washed, pretty much he had to get, washed down and everything, so he had his own little shower. And then pretty much literally the driver and driver were, blazing it up in that tunnel and everything, just trying to get the bees away and such.
And also, we're talking about this episode, we can't forget. We can't forget this. Buzz off! Buzz off! And Michael,
or pretty much, if you're listening to the UK version, buzz off!
Buzz off! It's James. One bee burnt his foot. Ooh,
ah.
Or in the US,
dooch.
We thought James had
burned him on purpose.
Where'd he go? Just
so it's one James right back on the nose. Whistle James. He had enough.
So it's fireman and driver.
And then pretty much James turned into a circus clown.
Yeah. Did you know about that face mask with the stung nose?
Uh-huh.
That face mask survived all the way till season 12. Believe it or not.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, it was still around by the time of Calling All Engines. Even when the model series ended, it's still around actually.
Nice.
So yeah. Anyway, so.
In terms of me and everything, like I said with the Buzz, even with the ending of Buzz and everything, it's a cheesy, sure, but honestly, it's one of the cheesy endings to where even you sometimes can't help but to laugh a little bit because because pretty much at the same time and everything, it's also a happy ending to where even James just you know what, I guess it is a little silly and such.
Okay, so yeah, I'll give them this. The new ending is pretty cute, so I'll give them that.
It is.
So yeah, I'll go. Let me finish because I'm not done.
All right, go ahead.
So I think James Goes Buzz absolutely deserves to be on here.
Oh, it does, and you know what? This was another episode to where pretty much I would also be very fine if this was the episode to end off the best of James and such.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Considering the new ending, yeah, I can also accept James Goes Buzz as the ending.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
but alas, this was not the ending of Best of James. The true ending came from Time for Trouble,
aka Doubleheader.
Yep.
Okay, so you want to take this one because I think you had something to say with this one.
All right, so honestly, in terms of me with this episode and everything, I still don't hate it and such. Even in season 3 and pretty much when we reviewed it for when we reviewed the Railway series version of the story and everything, both Bonnie and I agreed that you know what, the story is not as bad and such. Granted, at the end of the day, nothing really happens all that much and such. But honestly, what makes up for this episode and everything is the interaction between James and Toby and such. Whether it be from the beginning and everything with James boasting himself about how he's the pride of the line and such, and pretty much how everyone says to watches by him, and then where's Toby's response? Says you, replied Toby.
In the book version, it's I haven't done this in a while, but here we go.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, little Toby, I'm an important engine now. Everybody knows it. They come in crowds to see me flash by. The heaviest train makes no difference. Never late, always on time. That's me. Says you,
replied Toby.
God, I haven't done that Woody Russell impression in a while.
But yeah, that's always a classic right there. But this is an episode where, we do have the episode where, much like with Thomas Percy and the Dragon, it really is more focusing on Toby than it does with, James and such and everything. James is really just more the secondary character and everything. And pretty much as Bonnie pointed out, when we were having a private conversation, pretty much instead of, being the best of James and everything, this really shows James, not necessarily at his worst, but it shows James actually losing and such and everything, where pretty much, in the end and everything, because Toby was stranded on the main line and everything, he had to be the one to literally push Toby all the way to the station and then later to the works and such. And then pretty much what was waiting at the station? A bunch of little kids just being like, cool, the express is late and it's got 2 engines. I think James couldn't pull it on his own, so Toby had to help. Although I will admit, after listening to the ending, especially the way that George Carlin like delivers these lines and everything. Never mind, James. We're only joking, huh, said James. Toby just smiled.
Meanwhile, in the UK, it's ha ha.
Although, yeah. Although fun fact, in the early narrations of like Time for Trouble and everything, Michelangelo actually also did use huh instead of the famous ha ha ending.
I've never heard the early narration for that one because I'm mostly familiar with the ones that eventually aired on TV later on, the ones that everybody knows. But yeah. I have to listen to that one because I've never heard the ending for that one.
Yeah, no, and I pretty much I believe like in the early narration, like Angelis also did mention the Toby smiling part as well. Whereas like in the TV area, he actually does not like mention that. It's only in the U.S. where like George Carlin mentioned Toby smiling.
Okay, I never knew that. Okay,
yeah,
so this one I do prefer the book version because in the book version, everyone looks at James was like, "You're a fucking asshole."
Yeah, you're a fucking asshole. How dare you leave an old train standing on the main line, you elder abuser? And James is like, whoa, wait. Whoa, wait. Me, elder abuser? All right, you know what? You want me to go save that little shithead? All right, I'll go save him. Let's go.
I think the book version does a much better job in showing how much of an asshole James is.
Yeah,
and honestly, I do prefer that version because it basically gives James karma because, you know, he's a little shithead. And yeah, the book version makes it clear that he is a fucking shithead.
Yes, he definitely is.
Whereas in this one, they soften it up a little bit, but they still make James pretty much a little bit unlikable. A little bit. But the book version completely makes him unlikable.
Yeah, I see.
But honestly, in terms of including it on this best stuff, I don't think this is a good choice, if I'm honest.
Honestly, like I pretty much like honestly, like I pretty much honestly like both Barney and I agree that like even though this episode is not all that bad and everything, like really like the only thing we could really do is that like I pretty much said the team really wanted to keep this episode in the best of and everything. That if they want to switch it to either somewhere to like a spot for No Joke for James or James goes Buzz and everything, then like pretty much both Barney and I would be okay with that and everything.
Honestly, I would replace this episode with, I wrote it down in my notes here.
And what would you replace it with?
Foolish Freight Cars.
Yep, and pretty much same here. Like all right. So pretty much like so pretty much in the opposite effect, if the team did allow us to like get rid of Time for Trouble and put a different episode on it, then yeah, definitely Foolish Freight Cars would not only be the perfect ending to like Best of James, but and also as well too, like that episode actually serves as like a two-parter. Like pretty much it serves as like a little like finale episode over to like what happened to James, and James learns a lesson. So you know what, like yeah, Foolish Freight Cars definitely would have been another perfect choice. So like be the episode to end off the Best of series and such.
Oh, absolutely. But I still feel No Joke for James would be the best ending to this whole video.
Same here. Like I said, like either Best of James or James goes Buzz and everything. Like either one of those two episodes would still also be like one of the great choice to like end off like the Best of James VHS.
Exactly. So after this episode, Time for Trouble, we get another transition, which is Let's Have a Race Again. In the DVD version, once that ends, you cut to the credits. But in the VHS, it will cut to Don't Judge a Book by its cover, which was taken from Sing Along Stories.
And you can immediately tell, right? Pretty much you can immediately tell as soon as like the title card pulls up and such.
Yeah, and because it has the bouncing cloud, because I know a version that doesn't have the bouncing cloud, so.
Yes. And I pretty much like honestly like again, because like we have to keep in mind like this was still years before that like James the Really Splendid Engine ever came onto like a VHS and such, so they had to pick another song and everything to
remember season 6 was still in production at this time, so the song wasn't done yet.
Yeah, so pretty much like they had to like pick another like episode and everything, or at least like another song to like end off the Best of James and everything. Honestly, I think they made the right choice with like Don't Judge a Book by its cover.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And so after that, that's it. That's Best of James. And honestly, I'm gonna give my rating for this immediately.
Go
This
ahead.
is a 9 out of 10.
I mean, honestly, same here. Like, no joke. The first time I watched this VHS after so long and everything, like, I can say with complete confidence and everything that, like, yeah, pretty much this VHS definitely has delivered and everything. And like I said, even with like the small like a nitpick for Time for Trouble and everything, like I said, like if they were to just like move Time for Trouble elsewhere and everything, this VHS definitely would have gotten like a solid 10 and such and everything. But honestly, for me, like I definitely do agree with Barney. Like even in the end and everything, with Time for Trouble being like the final episode to end off the Best of James, I still give this VHS a strong 9 out of 10 as well too.
Oh, nice. So we're both in agreement that it's a 9. Awesome.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, now that we got the review out of the way, now let's get to the part everybody comes here for.
The bonus features. And let us tell you right here, pretty much Best of James like actually deliver way more than what makes someone happy did.
Yes. So, grab some popcorn, get a drink, because we'll be right back.
Good morning, Thomas. I need your help. All of our friends have gotten together to honor James for being a really splendid engine. Could you go down to the quarry and take over his task for the day?
I'd love to help out so James can take all of his friends around the island. Here he comes. I'd better get to work. See you all soon.
Hello, James. You've been a really useful engine over the past years, and I'd like to honor you for all your hard work. Your friends at home would like you to show them the island and explore everything it has to offer. Don't forget to visit the Fun and Game Shed, Read-Along Story Depot, and the Sing-Along Station. This is your day, James. All aboard!
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Best of James.
And immediately, like right off the bat, like the menu much better than make someone happy and such.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So this is a menu style exclusive to the Best Ofs, and honestly, I'm a big fan of this menu style.
Me too. And honestly, like I actually did like the little
Intro.
pretty much I did like a little bit of the intro and everything, where like pretty much like you think that like Thomas is gonna be wanting to take over. But no, like pretty much the top of my head is just like, hey, wait a minute, this is the Best of James. Go get James for me, Thomas. And Thomas is like, all right, fine, get on over here, James.
So yeah, here we go. Pick a story, which we already talked about in the review.
Yes.
So yeah, proudly for James. James in a mess.
Yes.
Old Ira. No joke,
for James.
James learns a
And you
lesson.
got James learns a lesson. Percy James
fruitful
day goes buzz with the nose. And
Time
wait a minute. Time for wait a minute. That's not time for trouble.
That's foolish freight cars.
Yeah, that's foolish freight cars. You lied to us, DVD. Okay. Okay, actually, yeah, you know what? I changed my mind. This DVD gets a 0. You lied to us.
But in its defense, this is a much better choice than
it is
Time for Trouble, which we already talked about in the review. But yeah, that's the pick a story section. Now, let's go.
All right, here we are. Love, fun, and games. Here we go.
I think there's dialogue. Let's see. Oh no, just music. Okay, so we got Build an Engine, Best of James Trivia, and Where Do I Belong? Let's do the trivia first.
All right, trivia it is. Here we go. And who's the answer that's going to come out? Well, he said it's James.
How much do you know about Thomas, James, and the rest of your Island of Sodor friends? Play the Best of James trivia game and test your knowledge. 8 different questions will see just how big of a Thomas fan you are. To play, select the correct answer by using the direction buttons on your controller. Press the Enter button when you have chosen the correct answer. Be sure to come back and play again and again.
All right, let's get started.
If you get these questions, questions wrong, I know that you're more of a Cars fan than a Thomas and Friends fan.
He had a cold. B. He was stung by a bee.
Stung by a bee.
C.
He had a sunburn. I mean, to be fair, he probably could have had a cold. We never know.
Yeah, true. Okay, so I'm gonna mention this before we get started. I want to warn you guys. I'm not gonna move the cursor until the audio is done because I'm using a software that apparently if I move the cursor, early while the audio's playing, the audio starts to, pixelate a little bit. So I gotta be careful.
Alright.
So I just warned you guys up front. So anyway, obviously it's B.
Yeah, I was done by a B.
Nice work. When that bee stung me on my nose, it turned red all over.
I can relate.
Just like
What did
just like a
Percy
paint.
crash into at the harbor, which got him in a sticky situation? A. Tar. B. Fruit. C. Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Chocolate!
Chocolate.
Chocolate!
And then Percy runs away.
So it was fruit.
Yeah, it was fruit. Although technically, no, it wasn't really much of a
Nice
harbor.
work.
And stuff,
I
but
crashed
sure.
into some crates of fruit, which completely covered me in ooey gooey jam.
That's not fruit. That's cheese.
Ugh.
What color engine is James? A. Red. B.
Oh my God,
blue.
James! What happened to your color?
C. Green.
Well, he was about to be blue at one point, so yeah, he was supposed to be blue. Let's say he's blue.
I would never be painted that color. Try another color.
Let's try again. Are you
What
actually
color
mocking
engine
me?
is James?
Do I look blue
A.
to you?
Red. B. Blue.
Why does, okay, why does it mean what's the
C,
press green? Would that be the
green.
same thing?
Let's see. Let's have a look.
I would never be painted that
I'm
color.
not even close.
Try another color.
What are you, colorblind?
What
Okay, yeah,
color
no, it's
engine
red.
is James? A. Red.
All right, so
B. Blue.
I'm gonna have to wait till the audio
C.
finishes.
Green.
All right, here we go.
Of course, I am James, and I am the splendid red engine.
Yeah.
We are Thomas's two faithful coaches who help to carry passengers from one side of the island to the other.
Well,
Who
Bill and Ben
are
did
we?
carry passengers at
A.
one point, so maybe
Annie
they are
and
coaches. Who
Clarabelle.
knows?
B. Donald and Douglas. C. Bill and Ben.
Annie Clarabelle.
Yeah, it's obviously Annie and Clarabelle.
You're really useful. Annie and Clarabelle are my good friends and make traveling my branch line a lot of fun. What did James crash into when he sped out of control down the hill in James in a Mess? A. Sir Topham Hatt's house. B. The engine shed. C. Tar wagons.
The engine shed.
I'm getting foreshadowing.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. For those that don't know, they know.
For you guys that know, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because it led to Pama. No, but it was the tar wagons.
Yeah. Although I'm sure it wasn't the Fat Controller's house, because I'm pretty
Nice
sure that
job.
like James was trying to come.
I did
I'm
crash
pretty sure
into
James
the
was
tar
also trying to come
wagons
to
and
breakfast
got
one time
tar
as well
all
too.
over my shiny red paint. How did James help Gordon in A Proud Day for James? A. Pulling the express coaches. B. Getting Gordon out of the mud. C.
See,
pushing
basically becoming
Gordon
like
up the
see,
hill.
basically becoming Edward's substitute and being Gordon's slave for once.
It's A.
Yeah.
Great job! I had to help Gordon by taking the passengers in his express coaches to the station. I am the number 7 tram engine who enjoys traveling the island of Sodor in search of fun. Who am I? A. Edward. B. James. C. Toby.
I wonder what happens if we get this one wrong. I'm just curious.
Let's use James.
James, okay, here we go.
What
That's
the
not
fuck?
quite
You
right.
think I?
Please
what
try
the
again.
Fuck? You think I'm that Steve Tramp?
I am the number 7 tram engine who enjoys traveling the island of Sodor in search of fun.
Look what happens.
Who am
So
I?
I'm gonna show you what happens.
A. Edward.
Oh, nothing happened.
B. James.
Oh yes. It's
C,
fizzling a little bit.
Toby.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to wait till the question finishes so I can, move the cursor. But anyway,
Alright.
it's Toby.
Nice job. I am Toby, and with my faithful friend Henrietta, I have had many exciting adventures. What kind of vehicle is Terrence? A.
Which is
Steam
interesting because,
engine.
like, we never
B,
actually really saw Terrence
tractor.
in, like, Best of James,
C.
actually.
Bus.
Not at all.
Unless you want to count the transition and, like, unless you want to count the transitions to where, like, they use, like, James in the Trouble with Trees. But obviously, Terrence is a steam engine, right?
Yeah. Nah, he's a tractor.
Yeah, he's a tractor. Always with that creepy-ass
Nice work.
smile.
I am Terrence,
Always
and
with that
I am a
stupid
tractor.
smile.
With my caterpillar wheels, I am able to go many places on the island
Correct me
that
if
the
I'm wrong, but,
engines
like,
can't.
didn't the team actually...
Wait.
Congratulations! You have answered all 8 questions correctly and are a top-notch Thomas and Friends fan. Thank you for playing, and be sure to come back again for more trivia questions to try.
All right, go ahead. Sorry about that.
I know, I was just gonna say that, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, didn't, like, the team actually make, like, different face maxes for Terrence?
Yes, they made a bunch of them, and 3 of them didn't end up being used.
Gee, I wonder why.
Maybe because they liked the creepy ass smile. Which, yeah,
Maybe.
to be fair, it kind of fits Terrence, you know.
It does, because, like, yeah, like, to be fair, like, Terrence is, like, the kind of tractor that, like, really doesn't care what anyone thinks of him, honestly.
Yeah, he's just the type of guy that, like, oh, hey, someone said a shit about me. Who cares? Back to work.
Yeah, who cares? Yeah, pretty much who cares? I'm just gonna go on about my day. Alright, so pretty much, like, are those, like, all the 8 questions that we've covered, or is there more to it?
I think there's more, but it's gonna get a little bit repetitive. So for this occasion, we're just gonna continue.
Alright, that's fair enough.
All right, so back to the menu. Next up, let's do
Then you know what? Let's try to build an engine.
build an engine. All right.
Yeah, let's build Diesel 10.
All right.
Let's change it good. Got to win.
Thomas, James, and Percy are in need of some repairs and would like your help. Use the right and left direction buttons on your controller to choose an engine and press Enter to begin.
Okay, this is the best of DVD. So obviously, Percy should go first. And James is just like, what the fuck?
Here we go.
Alright.
Hi, I'm Percy, and I'm not feeling very useful today. But you can help me get better.
Yeah, literally, I'm
Select
bald.
the highlighted part that I am missing using the direction buttons on your controller. Press the Enter button when you have chosen the right part.
All right. So first off is the steps. So
Yep, the steps
Good
to get into his
job.
cab.
The steps allow for my driver and fireman to climb into my cab so they can take me all over the island of Sodor.
all right, what's next? The boiler.
Yep, it's a saddle boiler.
Hooray! My boiler heats water into steam so I can go really fast and be a really useful engine.
That's the cylinder.
For his pistons.
Terrific! My special pistons help to keep my connecting rods moving and my wheels spinning.
And of course,
The whistle.
where's his funnel? That was a whistle.
Fantastic! My whistle alerts passengers at the station or other trains that I'm approaching.
Except for that one time where I decided not to use my whistle because I wanted to surprise the coaches like a jackass. And that backfired.
Great job! I'm feeling much better. Now I'm off to prove that even little engines can do big things.
Little engines can do big things. It actually could be used.
Thomas, James, and Percy
Could actually
are
be
in
used
need.
useful one time in a song.
All right. So who's next?
All right. You want? Actually, you want to be an asshole and do James? We'll save Thomas for last.
Yeah, why not? This is the best of James. So
Yeah, this is the best of James after all. Thomas already had his time to shine anyway.
Hi, I'm James.
Holy shit, he's
I had a little
tenderless.
accident with some troublesome trucks and need your help. Can you put all my parts in the right place so I am once again a really
Actually, do
splendid
you have with
engine?
troublesome trucks that like
Select
resulted in
the
you losing your
highlighted
tender?
part that I am missing using the direction buttons on your controller. Press the Enter button when you have chosen the right part.
all right.
Well, it's definitely his buffers.
Nah,
No.
it's the tender.
Yeah.
Excellent. Tenders are for splendid engines like myself and allow me to carry my coal, so I always have enough steam to finish the job.
Take my advice, scrap your tender and have a nice bunker.
Nah, it's the buffers. Here we
Yeah.
Splendid. The front chassis is very important because it contains my buffers, coupling hook, and brake pipe.
go. Alright, next.
Beat
Coupling rods.
rods.
The coupling rods, yeah.
Yep.
Great. My connecting rod attaches my wheels to one another, which make it possible for me to travel along the tracks.
And, of course,
The funnel. Or otherwise, James will go.
Wonderful work. My funnel allows steam engines like myself to release steam when we're hard at
Thank you for
work.
the funnel.
You were a great help. Now, let's continue on our journey.
I like how the pistons don't even turn and such.
Thomas,
No.
James, and Percy are in need of some
Alright.
repairs, and
All right. Well, you know what I think. All right. Well, you know what I think. We're all done with the game and everything. So let's just go back to the menu.
what was that I heard? What was that I heard?
All right. All right. We'll give you a chance to sign. Go ahead, little brat.
That's more like it.
Hi, I'm Thomas, and I
Holy
need
shit,
your
having a
help.
cab.
Sir Topham Hat needs me down at the quarry, but I can't help out until I'm all repaired. Select the highlighted part
you
that
gonna do
I am
another
missing
house again,
using
Thomas?
the direction buttons on
Maybe.
your controller. Press the enter button when you have chosen the right part.
Alright,
All right. So obviously the wheels.
Nice job! I have 6 wheels, which help me go really fast because even small engines like myself can be really useful.
the buffers.
Yep.
Good work! My buffers are found on my front and back chassis and protect me with a cushion if I accidentally bump into another engine or get a little rough with the troublesome trucks.
Alright, what's next? The cap.
Cat. It's the latest thing for it.
That's it! The cab is where my crew stands to drive me around the island.
And the smoke box.
Yep. The smoke box and funnel.
Terrific! The smoke box contains my steam pipe and funnel, which gives me the energy to travel along my very own branch line.
Alrighty.
Thank you so much. I'm off to the quarry.
Bye bye.
well done. You're really useful.
And that's it.
Oh goodness, fuck you.
Alright, so we got one more game left.
Yep. Where do I belong?
Here
Well, I know where you belong. In New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah. Well, we guys got a triplet.
Everyone on the island has a special area where they are most useful to me.
Oh yeah, okay. Keep
Some
this little
jobs
setting
are
in
best
mind,
left
folks.
to planes,
Keep this
some
setting
to
in mind for
trains,
much,
and
much
some
later.
to cranes. Can you figure out where everyone belongs?
Oh, yeah, the background.
When your Sodor friend
Yep.
appears at the bottom
Yes,
of the
keep
screen,
this in
use
mind
the
for
direction
something.
buttons on
Yeah.
your controller to select
Yes.
an area on
Remember
the
this.
island and press enter when you have
Remember.
found where they belong.
Remember what again? I already forgot.
Alright. Alright, first. Who's first?
What? Well, we already know where you go to because you're a dead giveaway.
You're really
Holy
smart.
shit, magic!
In the water, I am able to bring goods in and out of the harbor.
Even though that technically you're supposed to be at a beach, but okay, sure.
Next.
Hey, it's you. The creepy. Hey, it's you, the creepy ass tractor. Let's try farm. Let's see what happens.
You did
Okay, I
it.
guess that works.
I help out at the farm, plowing fields and making sure everything is ready for the farmers to plant their crops.
All right, up next. Well, Birdie, I know where you're going to go to. The sky. You're going to learn how to fly. No, road.
It's the road.
Yeah. Which hopefully
Good
for Birdie's
work.
sake, it's
I love
hopefully for
carrying
Birdie's sake, the road is
passengers
mended
along
with
the
fresh
roads
tar.
to areas on the island where trains can't go.
All right, next.
Let's see.
Whoa.
Oh,
Well, that was that was something.
I mean, it was something. Like, it was kind of a little cool. Like, I pretty much like, yeah, they made like a Cranky almost like, I pretty much made Cranky out to be like some kind of like, Mission Impossible character.
Or Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story 2, where he's climbing the elevator. You know what's
And pretty
talking
much he also uses the hook and such. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the only place I could literally pick him is like the quarry.
Yeah, Quarry. Let's give it a shot.
Although technically he's supposed to be the
Nice
dogs, but
job.
whatever.
I help out at the quarry where I help load and unload troublesome trucks.
I guess in this universe, okay. I guess in this DVD universe, like the dogs just don't exist.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello everyone. I'd like to introduce you to one of my wives. She's got a sister, so she's single. Anyway, I'm gonna take them up in the sky and introduce them to the Mile High Club, if you know what I mean.
Terrific. I love flying high in the sky so I can see everything happening on the island.
And we already know who's going to be last.
Yep. Wait a minute, Thomas, though. Yeah, you belong at the station. So take your tracks with you.
I knew you could do it. On my railroad tracks, I'm able to bring passengers to
Railway.
all the stations on the island.
Railroad, railway, whatever.
Well done. You're really useful.
And that's pretty much it.
Yep.
Because then we got the character gallery, but the character gallery is almost exactly the same as in Best of Thomas, but they added like 3 new characters.
They did.
And
what? And pretty much what were those 3 new characters?
Trevor, Edward, and Terrence.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not gonna do it because this is gonna be a big waste of time, so we're gonna continue on.
Alrighty.
So next up, we got a read along.
Alright, what's today's read along? Hooray for Thomas! Hooray for... Oh wait, Butcher's not here.
And you might be thinking, is this the season 7 story? No, it's not the season 7 story. This was written years before the season 7 episode.
Yes, so pretty much it's going to be much different.
Much different. Now this one I was not very familiar with because remember I didn't own Best of James as a kid. Though I do remember this one because of the previews. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's take a look.
So let's take a look. It was published in 2000. Okay.
Yep.
All right, I'll do the narration.
All right, go ahead.
If it
What the fuck is up with James? What the fuck is up with James and Percy's face?
Thomas the Tank Engine and his friends were very excited. The fair was in town. All the engines in the yard wanted to go, but there was too much work to do, so only one engine could be spared. Sir Topham Hatt chose Henry to go to the fair and give the children rides.
That dude looks like he's hyped up on speed.
Yeah.
Oh, goody, I get to be the main episode for once.
I wish I could go to the fair, said Thomas.
Right. You're in luck, said his driver. You don't get to go to the fair. We have to bring some coal to the station. You can see the fair along the way,
said Thomas. Yeah, I don't say PP because it's pretty cringy for some reason. I don't know what it is, but every time I hear someone say PP, I find it kind of cringy. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, when you kind of think about it and everything, like if you just take away the last P out of PP, but literally, pretty much just literally someone almost saying PP.
All right. Thomas trucked along his tracks. Soon he was at the fair. There were many things to see and do. He saw a marching band, a petting zoo with lots of animals, and children playing games.
Look, mommy, a talking train, said a horse. I wish we could talk, said the other horse. If trees could talk, why the fuck can't we animals talk?
And there was Henry, with coaches full of children ready to take a ride. Henry blew his whistle when he saw Thomas.
Hey, look at that. Henry was right on time for once.
Thomas shucked to the coal mine. He loaded his freight cars with coal and headed for home. Suddenly, dark clouds rolled in. Big raindrops fell from the sky. Everyone at the fair ran for cover.
Hurry, everyone, or else we're gonna catch pneumonia.
Guess what happened to George Washington? He rode his horse in heavy snowfall. He didn't change his clothes to, dry ones, and then the next day he went out on snow, and he fell sick and died, unfortunately.
Yeah. So remember, kids, don't stay out in the rain for too long.
Yeah, because
unless you got a raincoat or an umbrella.
The rain fell harder and harder. Henry hated being wet. His driver unhooked him from his coaches. Then he backed Henry into the tunnel to stay dry.
Wait a minute, Henry. You were pulling the coaches from the other end. Are you magic? Yes.
Yes, I am magic. When the rain stopped, Henry was ready to come out of his tunnel. He tried and tried, but he couldn't move. His back wheels were stuck in the mud.
Where the fuck did mud come from?
Sir Topham Hatt didn't know what to do.
Oh man, a mud? No, this was not in my job description.
That's almost as stupid as I can't see a doctor. My job doesn't provide me with health insurance.
Yeah. Apparently, even though I'm the head of the railway and make sure to keep you guys all safe. Apparently, the British government is so cheap, they don't even give me health insurance. Such is life.
Although on Sodor's defense, because remember they're part of England, in Sodor's defense they have universal health care.
Yeah, they do have free health care. So you know what they do have free health care. So what the fuck am I complaining about?
Yeah, the UK has free universal health care, so there you go. Anyway.
Yeah.
Just then, Thomas shucked by on his way to the station. His driver saw the crowd standing around Henry. He went over to see what was going on.
And then Thomas just where the fuck did mud come from?
Thank goodness you've come, said Sir Topham Hatt. Henry is stuck. We need an engine to give the children rides. Thomas felt bad for his friend Henry, but he was happy to be able to help. Quickly, the workmen hooked Henry's coaches onto Thomas. Everyone cheered.
Hooray for Thomas! Roll credits.
And everyone had a good time.
And all the other engines looked at Henry and was just scrap him!
The end.
The end. Henry got scrapped. The end, kids.
Okay, so I gotta be honest, honestly, pretty interesting story. I'll give them this. Pretty interesting.
It is, pretty much just short and sweet to the point and such.
Yeah, so there you go. That's hooray for Thomas. Now, let's take a look at the sing-along.
Alright. So, as we said, yep, here it is. Don't judge a book. Hail the helicopter. Island song, not the island song. And Gone Fishing.
This is the version with the kids singing, by the way.
Pretty much as you can see right here, all these are the sing-along versions and such.
Yeah, this is the one with the kids singing, because the Junior Campbell version did not have the bouncing cloud.
No. And pretty much the only way you can see the junior version is if you had a version of pretty much either you had Rusty to the Rescue, or if you were lucky like me, the junior version also came within the cassette tape of I believe it was either Salty Secrets or one of the other season 2 season 6 VHSs.
Okay, yeah. So all right, so there you go. That's the sing-along song.
Yep.
And of course,
we got web fun.
I'll do the voice. If you would like to visit the official Thomas and Friends website, please insert this DVD into your personal computer DVD ROM drive. You may need a grown-up to help you. ThomasTheTankEngine.com is loaded with exciting features and news about all of your Island of Sodor friends. There are lots of activities and fun games to play. You can also find out about Thomas events and visit my office. Have fun.
Have fun. Have fun.
But there's one problem. This doesn't work anymore.
No, because yeah, because the website is literally dead at this point.
Yeah, because Mattel took it down a couple years ago, actually.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fuck you once again.
Shit.
So there you go. That's Best of James.
And honestly, much better than Make Someone Happy by a long shot.
Much better than Make Someone Happy. I completely agree. Honestly, for what you get for this DVD, 2 thumbs up for me. Awesome.
Oh yeah, pretty much same here. Like even the fun of games, like provided like a lot more like fun activities than what you got for like Best of Thomas and such and everything.
Totally, yeah. And with the 7 out of the 8 episodes, in this video, awesome choices.
Yeah, pretty much same here. So overall, like at least in terms of like menus and such, like DVD menus and everything, if we were to put this DVD menu on the tier list, like honestly, I would be very like, pretty much I would definitely contend to putting this up into like a S tier, or at the very least a very high A tier and such.
I would put this one alongside Best of Thomas in A tier, because both are pretty good DVD menus.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with you.
So yeah, there you go, folks. That was a Best of James. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you guys want to see episode 4, hit the subscribe button as well.
Yes, because pretty much coming up for episode 4, let's just say that we're going to be bugging a certain crane that's always cranky.
It's
Cranky Bugs and Other Thomas Stories. Pretty much the very first VHS to feature season 5 episodes.
Yes. So did you have that one with the original Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends logo, or you only had it on DVD?
I did. No, like pretty much like I did had Cranky Bugs on VHS as well too.
With the original Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends logo?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. All right, I can't wait to talk about that one. So yeah, folks, thank you so much for watching. This has been Bonnie with
Zecoa the Diesel.
Saying thank you for watching, and we'll be seeing you guys in episode 4 of Thomas and Friends Home Video Reviews. So until then, folks, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye-bye, everybody.